Hello, my name is Caleb Rowland, and I will be presenting my capstone presentation of the analysis of Microsoft. To begin with, we'd like to go over the history of Microsoft. In 1975, Bill Gates and Paul G. Allen created what we now know as the Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code, or better known as BASIC. BASIC was the software system that they created for early computer systems. By doing this, they later they combined the two words of microcomputer and software together to create what we now know as Microsoft. Over the next couple of years, they refined the BASIC and developed programmable languages. This was their really first dive into it. And over here on the side, you see Bill Gates and Paul G. Allen back in the 1970s when they created this company. And then again later in the late 2000s when they recreated the same picture as before. Moving to the next slide, we're going to look at the background of Microsoft. Some of the backgrounds, we're going to look at their mission. The mission is to enable people and businesses throughout the world to realize their full potential by creating technology that transforms the way people work, play, and communicate. Now, this is really large. It's a really large vision. It kind of spoke to me because it allows me to do things such as I am now. I can reach out. I can increase my potential for say this class in general. I love to be able to do this. I hate to have to do this over video, but the fact that I'm able to says a lot for what Microsoft has done for us. They develop market software. They make services, hardware. They deliver new opportunities, greater convenience, things such as this. Some of their products include personal computers, which many of us have now. It's what we use in our everyday lives for all our technology. A lot of people use them for entertainment. People use them for work. They're just very useful these days. You have some servers, so you have like Microsoft Edge, it's a web browser server. You can kind of personalize it the way you want to. It keeps up with all your passwords, things such as that. It's very useful. They've created some phones. The phones aren't quite into the market where they'd like them to be, but they're definitely being innovative in the ways that they are doing that. And they made some other intelligent devices. They're also making server applications for distributed computing environments, productivity appliances, some business solution appliances, or applications, desktop and server managements, some tools, some software development tools, like say how a lot of programmers use softwares on their personal computers. They give them some tools to really teach them how to do it. They create video games, some online advertising. They design and sell hardware, so they have like the Xbox 360, the Xbox One. They're creating a new one this coming up winter. They also have things that go along with those consoles to greater immerse you into their gaming experience. They also make some Microsoft PC hardware products, so they kind of create some of their own computers, like the Microsoft Surface Pro, I believe it's called. The NFL has recently taken over acquiring some of these because they're so helpful in the game for them today. Moving on, we're looking at the strategic leadership of Microsoft. They use several different strategies when achieving their competitive advantages. Their primary strategy, they want market penetration. This strategy involves selling more products to the market where the company currently has operations. So, talk about more of that in just a moment. Product development is their secondary strategy, and this is when Microsoft uses product development to facilitate growth based on new development and sales of new products. So, and here with their here with their market penetration, they want to target as much as they possibly can in the markets that they're already in, but they also want to use their product development, so when they get into new markets, they increase their spectrum of who they can sell to in those new countries. They also have two supporting strategies that go along with this. They have market development. They have market development, which so once they make new products through their product development, they use the market development to branch out into new countries to then use their market penetration once they're in those new countries to really broaden. They kind of all tie together. Then they have diversification, which is they work alongside developing the new business. From diversification helps to grow the market development in these new markets. So they use market development and they use their diversification to really penetrate the new countries, but then they use their product development once they're in the new countries to increase their product. And then once they're in those countries and they've been in those countries for a little while, they have their market penetration, which really helps to target where the markets that they're already in. And over here, you just kind of see some of the products that they do offer. For like, you have your Windows series, you have your Microsoft Office, your Skype, LinkedIn, which is a very widely used business tool these days. You have your Windows, your Surface, Xbox, Bing, which is a search engine. Just some of the things they offer. Some of the opportunities that they give, they have cloud business growth, they have some innovation in artificial intelligence, they have partnerships and acquisitions. The cloud business growth, what really stands out to me when I hear this is how they've introduced this new OneDrive. You kind of have all your information, you can put it up in the cloud, and you can kind of pull it from many different computers. You just have to log into your stuff, which is very helpful. You don't have to keep up with USB drives, or say if the USB drive's corrupt, then you lose all your work. Those are really frustrating times. So this cloud market, really beneficial. You have innovation in artificial intelligence. They already have some artificial intelligence in the sense of like with their Xbox systems. You can talk to them and they'll respond back to you. You can interact, tell the Xbox like, "Hey, Xbox, shut down," and it'll turn off itself. You don't have to have a controller. You don't have to do those kind of things. And they have a really good opportunity to expand in that realm. For partnerships and acquisitions, there's many different things that they can do. For example, one of the recent things they've done in 2011, they purchased Skype. Skype, we'll speak more on later, but that's just part of one thing they can like delve into many different areas of the market to really broaden where they can target. Some of the opportunities continued. You have the smartphone industry, which, like I said earlier, they did not really focus that much on the smartphones. They're trying to be innovative and really broaden and get that market bite to it, because they're a little behind Android and Apple currently. So they're just at this point have the opportunity to really broaden that spectrum. Their cost leadership strategy. This is very big in the sense of the main market that Microsoft wants to target is the middle class market. They do have some high-end products and some low-end products, but their middle class is where they really focus, for the sense of this is a class of the consumers that people need these products, such as the personal computers and things like that. And it's also not so expensive that they can't get it. It's not available to them. Looking at some threats, they have some workforce-related criticisms. Now here it talks about how the diversification statistics show that there was an imbalance in the recruited workforce. Now I kind of looked into this a little bit, and it's not so much that they had an imbalance in the recruiting. It's just the fact that they had who they needed and didn't need to hire many new people, which kind of showed a small imbalance. The gay reference controversy. Microsoft has faced many criticisms for its Xbox Live game service. References to homosexuality and gays cannot be used in the gamer tag and user profiles, as the company considers this matter was unsuitable and offensive for others. This is just more so to protect the people themselves, because people on games, you can kind of say what you want, and you don't necessarily want anybody to be getting scrutinized over your game system. So Xbox Live, you don't want people being bullied and then something to happen because someone got bullied over the game, that they do harm to themselves or do harm to others. An aggressive competition. So they have an intense competition with Google and Apple. As many well know, like it's kind of like Microsoft versus Apple in the computer realm, and then also you have Google versus Microsoft in the realm of like search engines, because you got Bing versus Google. Some more threats that are available. There's the changing consumer preferences. So this is basically what consumers want these days. So like everybody, you don't always want the same thing. You want something new. Microsoft has recently been trying to be innovative and create new things to help eliminate this, but there's always that sense of Microsoft is a computer-based company, so you can only change so much. Some open source projects. So the Linus operating system and open source office. Many new open source projects have successfully entered in the market that offer similar free service. So this is basically in the sense of how Microsoft Office, you have to pay your subscriptions and things such as that to get in that market. And but the counteract that, you can see that the broad availability that the Microsoft has. You have Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, many different things that come with Office, along with many universities that offer it for students for free. For example, here at True McConnell, you can use your student email and you can download Microsoft Office onto any computer that you have. Moving on, some of the distinct competencies in Microsoft. Now, some of the competencies is really what the company's good at. And when you hear Microsoft, some of the things, like when you hear Microsoft, you know Microsoft. This really shows that they have strong brand image. This is really helpful, and so they can it really helps them get into the new markets. So like when they're trying to get into a new country, and they can really hey, look, we're Microsoft, and a lot of people can oh, I've heard of Microsoft, kind of feel they have such a strong brand image. They have high compatibility with other products. This is in the sense of personal computers, for example. You have different companies that make computers, such as Dell and Acer computers. Now, they don't have their own operating system, so Microsoft creates their Windows 10 to be compatible with many other computers. So this allows the products to be compatible. You can have a Windows operating system on an Acer computer or a Dell computer. They have products that are widely used. So they have personal computers for one. Many people need personal computers. They have the website services, so your web browsers. So you have Microsoft Edge that they use, that many people can use. They recently started making some smartphones that some people may have. They also have their Xbox systems, their gaming systems that many people buy. Moving on to the next one. Microsoft's functional level strategies. Now, the functional level strategies, the most important strategy is marketing for Microsoft. There are some of their best strategies that they use. They use network marketing, regular products, launches, follower strategy, learning and adapting, ease of use, build a brand equity. With these focuses, they strive to control the competition and dominate the market control. So going into, say, the network marketing, they like to network all their things together. So if they have some information here in the United States, they also want to offer it over in Europe, in that area. So they network everything together so they can really hold tight to what they have. They have some learning and adapting. For example, with the smartphones, they're definitely learning and adapting with these. They're learning what the consumer wants and also adapting to create those needs or to solve those needs for the consumer. And they want to build the brand equity, which they already have a very strong brand, but they also want to build it in other terms such as the smartphones and things like that, just other realms other than just the personal computers. The business level strategies. They have cost leadership, which is a very strong ideal for Microsoft. Like I said, they want to really offer that mid-range so that you don't have to get these overpriced products or these underpriced, not so good products. They like to have a low-cost basis so you can get these mid-range products at a decent price. Microsoft's strategic objective is using this strategy to differentiate by embedding the innovation and addressing the consumer's growth and health concerns. Now, with the growing health concerns today, especially with the COVID-19 being such a pandemic as it has been, it really speaks to people in these days that the Microsoft is really concerned of people's health because there's been such big issues with health lately. Microsoft adopts and focus strategy both in terms of low cost and offering the best value. That is, again, what they strive to do. They strive to give the best possible product for the lowest possible price that they can offer. And this is one way that they use to really control the market and keep their consumers loyal to them. Some of the corporate level strategies. They have a global corporate groups that focus on the functions and essentials in the computer technology business. So they have groups that are located around the world that really their sole purpose is to focus on the essentials in the computers that the consumers want. So the different how to make a computer faster but be cheaper, so people don't have to wait as long for loading times and things such as that. They have a high level of vertical integration. They make their own products. They in the forms of the Microsoft Office, some of the smartphones, the gaming systems, and many more things. They also create their own customer service for each of these. So like say your Microsoft Office, you can call customer service and they'll help you through whatever you need help with. This is very beneficial and help like in the line of things, so you don't have to hire somebody else to do that for you. So some more of the corporate level strategies. They create their own accessories. So like for the computers, they create things to go with it, headsets, different speakers, things like that, and then the gaming systems as well as like controllers and headsets, games, things that go with the consoles, just to really broaden their market. And also they have horizontal integration. They have recently branched out in 2011. They purchased Skype, and through the purchase of Skype, Skype is a video chat, and many businesses use it for like big meetings that where people aren't together, they can use Skype to all be together through a video chat. And by purchasing Skype, it gave Microsoft control of 1/3 of all the long distance calls made on Earth. Now, say every person on Earth, 7 billion people, have the ability to use Skype. That means they would have 1/3 of that, which is a tremendous amount of people that they have control of their products with. Their productivity and their business processes. Now, this is just some numbers and statistics and things such as that really show how much Microsoft has grown over the past few years. And these numbers specifically come from the first quarter of the 2020 year. So their revenue increased $1.3 billion, or a 13% increase rate. Some of their Office commercial revenue increased $807 million, all again 13%. These were driven by their Office 365 commercial, offset in part by lower revenue from products licenses on premise. So this is things such as like people purchasing Microsoft Office, for example. The Office consumer revenue increased 51%, driven by the consumer due to recurring subscriptions. So people from 2019 that are turning over their Microsoft Office to the new year. And now keep in mind, this is just for the first quarter, not the entire year. Also, the LinkedIn increased $379 million, which LinkedIn is a massive business tool that we now have today, and it increased 25% in the last quarter. Some more statistics based on this. Some of the dynamics and revenue increased 14%. Operating income increased $901 million, and this really spoke to me because operating income really comes from how much it costs them. You take how much you make versus how much it takes you to make the item, and then subtract that. So it really shows you that they increased 23% just in the basis of creating products and selling them. And then the gross margin increased $1.2 billion, driven between the Office, LinkedIn, and the operating incomes. They all come together for a $1.2 billion increase, and this is just in the first quarter of 2020. Some of the operating expenses increased $287 million, driven by the instruments of LinkedIn and cloud engineering, which is the OneDrive we spoke about. And then just some other things. The revenue increased by 2%. The revenue, gross margin, and operating income included an unfavorable foreign currency impact of 2%, 3%, and 4% respectively. So this revenue included an unfavorable foreign currency of 2%, so on. These numbers really spoke to me, especially in the operating income, of how much they made just in one quarter just from their operating income alone. And then on top of that, you have your other uses that they have, such as the Skype, the LinkedIn, and the Microsoft Office subscriptions. And some of the references that I used in the book are for my PowerPoint. And that concludes my presentation of the analysis of Microsoft.